Breaking news, Dad. Car dealers are fighting back against Ford Motor Corporation. They are fighting back because, well, Ford doesn't want them to sell as many EVs, and they're saying that is unlawful. We have a battle between dealers and automakers. What's the lay of the land here? What's going on?
I don't know, but it sounds like the WWE to me, buddy.
It does kind of feel like the WWE.
It does, and I'm not sure who's going to win. But I believe it'll be the dealers.
And earlier this year, just to be clear, this year, Ford Motor Corporation, Jim Farley, his team, they came out and they told dealers, we're kind of getting rid of you, but not getting rid of you. You're still our friends. They put this EV certification program in place that essentially gets rid of inventory. They have a fixed price for vehicles. It really changes the dealership model.
Yes, and it also requires, if you want to be allowed to sell 25 EVs a year, it requires, and no more, it requires a $500,000 investment in some infrastructure for your dealership. And if you'd like to have, well, an unlimited number of EVs that you can sell, and nobody can put the number on what that unlimited number would be, you only need to invest $1.2 million. And if you had until last Friday to make that decision as a Ford dealer, and if you chose not to, well, then you wouldn't have the opportunity again until, say, 2025 to opt in.
And if you didn't want to pay any money to sell EVs, well, then great. You would only get to sell internal combustion engine vehicles.
Yes.
So we had 3 different states, the dealer associations in 3 different states, and many others have made noise, but in 3 different states, they banded together, and there's now a lawsuit in the state of New York. We had Arkansas, Illinois, New York, and there's even Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut. A U.S. senator coming out and saying this doesn't feel right. And to be clear, we bash bad dealers frequently on this channel, and with great reason. Ford Lightning markups, Ford Maverick markups. I mean, dealers have done some really egregious things. But what Ford is trying to do here, which is pushing back on the dealership model, we're running into the first hurdle on that, on that journey. And it seems like I'm with you. I bet you the dealers end up winning here.
Yeah, because ultimately in many states, what Ford's trying to do violates the franchise laws in those states that are on the books. And realistically, it's actually 14 states, dealers associations in 14 states that have written to Ford about this new program of theirs. In New York, for instance, the franchise laws state that, well, if you're a franchise dealer, you're entitled to every make and model
if it has the nameplate,
that manufacturer makes. And it's based on an allocation system based on what you've turned to what you've earned. And well, if you're not willing to invest $500,000, you can't earn any. And if you invest that $500,000, you can only earn 25. It's $2 a month. And, one of the things that I've heard from many dealers is that there's very limited margin in the Ford electric vehicles. I have heard, for instance, on the Ford Mach-E, that the invoice price and the MSRP are virtually the same. There's no margin. Well, if there's no margin, why would you want to invest $500,000 so that you get your hands on 25 of those and you can sell 25 cars that you can make no money on? Well, it's like, let me just give Ford an extra $500,000.
Thinking about getting auto insurance? Compare quotes from all the major carriers in one place. Join YAA.com/insurance. It's quick, easy, and no spam.
Remember when Ford came out with this plan earlier this year, and we came on this show, we had a video Ford's done with dealers, and we made a prognosis, or at least I made a prognosis. I suggested that we were going to see other automakers follow suit. We were going to see GM say something similar. We were going to see Volkswagen say something. No one has followed suit. Everyone is kind of watching Ford try and conquest on this journey towards getting rid of car dealers, or at least redefining the role that the dealer has in the relationship. No one is following suit. I think everyone is watching this, waiting to see how it plays out. And likely what will happen in the state of New York, for example, is there will be a stay put in place that will not allow this program to move forward until a judgment has been reached. Likely, Dad, we're looking at years of litigation before anything materially changes. And in the meantime, you're still going to see dealer markups. You're still going to have negotiations. brands. So this idea that dealers are going to go by the wayside tomorrow is a fallacy. Just because Tesla did it doesn't mean everyone else is going to.
And I don't know if you remember, but around this time last year, Ford sent out memos to their dealers that they didn't want the dealers to add additional dealer markup to their cars because it hurts the reputation of the brand. Follow me on this for a second. So Ford is saying to their dealers, if you want to sell electric vehicles, either 2,500, either 25 a year, a year, or an unlimited amount, and nobody knows what that unlimited amount would be. You either have to invest $500,000 or $1.2 million. Oh, by the way, there's no margin built into these vehicles. So the only way you'll be able to make any money on these vehicles is to add an additional dealer markup. So Ford says, hey, you shouldn't add an additional dealer markup. It's bad for the brand. And on the other hand, they say, well, we're not going to give you any margin. So the only way you can make any money is to add additional dealer markup. They are so full of poop. It is just unbelievable. I mean, it is. I've always understood that corporations talk out of both sides of their mouths, but my God, it's diarrhea out of both sides when it comes to Ford.
Incredible, Dad. I think you got the devil and angel down right. That's pretty.
No,
accurate.
they were both devils.
Anyway, it's super interesting what's going on. We've got other brands who may follow suit. I think you have likely a lot of other automakers that are going to watch this and then figure out their next steps. We're in for a fight. There's definitely a fight brewing.
The only ones making money on this deal will be the lawyers, okay? Because these litigations are going to run into the hundreds of millions of dollars. They just are. And ultimately, Ford is going to lose, and the dealers are going to win because of the franchise dealers agreements and the franchise laws in most states. So unless Ford can negotiate some type of settlement with their dealer body.
Yeah, to buy out their dealers, which is not going to happen.
This ain't happening. It just ain't happening.
Thanks, Pops.
Thank you.